Hello, good morning. This is High Priestess Jamila, and I thought I would come on here and talk about energy vampires and why it is over for energy vampires officially, um, and just to kind of go over that with you guys, okay? It's really, really early Sunday morning, so I don't know how many of you guys will be here. Um, And so I guess you guys can just catch the playback, okay? Because, I am going to be busy for the rest of the day. Probably won't have much time. I am working on my hair. So, um, got to get a fresh do. But I wanted to come and speak about the day of energy vampirism is officially over. Um, this is something that has been going on for quite some time. And from what Spirit is telling me, is that the free ride is over for energy vampires. In order to understand energy vampires or, energy harvesting, you have to understand how and I'm talking about vampirism. I'm not talking about gaining inspiration off of a person. I'm not talking about, being next to a person that makes you feel better. I'm talking about basically the way that energy vampirism worked. The person themselves was not an energy vampire, but rather it was more so a parasitic entity that was attached to the person, and pretty much what that person would do is they would go out and they would find people to feed on. In fact, narcissism wasn't even what it was. A lot of people felt like it was narcissism. It wasn't narcissism. It was strictly and all about vampirism, these particular entities attaching to people and having them go out and use various tactics against people that they wanted to feed on. This, however, has been slowly dissipating. It's been slowly being unraveled for them, and I don't feel sorry for them because I think that when you have a certain spirit attachment that is doing something, you have to pay attention and you have to decide, I don't want to be a part of that. So if a person was, let's say, energy vampiring off of people, and, they figured out that that's what they were doing and they could get these short term rewards. Now, at this point, what is happening is that it has been shut down. The entire system of energy vampirism has been completely shut down for most people. Um, Nobody was actually benefiting from that energy that was being harvested. In fact, for the most part, a lot of you guys, if you were going to the Botanica and you were buying those lovely red and black reversal candles, you were already taking back your power with those red and black reversal candles. Basically, let me put this in terms of where you guys can understand it. The way that energy vampirism works is basically where it's almost like fishing. You take a line, you throw out the hook. It's got bait on it. The person who is the fish, who is the person that was being fed up on, they would grab onto the hook, and then the person would then steal their life force or their energy. Um, this is no longer a problem for most people. Um, and I think that it's something that does still need to be worked on for some people. I think that there are some people that still have not kind of cracked the code on energy harvesting or energy vampirism. They don't really understand it. They don't really know how to get rid of it. And, because the thing of it is about being a procurer for an energy harvesting demon is that eventually it's going to make the person that is the procurer very sick, will make that person extremely drained of their energy. And it it's not good. In fact, anybody that got codependent on this vampirism is not getting anything out of it for the most part. So somewhere around the end of July was when there was a energy shift, and a lot of people got like messages and downloads about this. Okay, that time is over. Okay, that's a time that has passed at this point for most people, for the most part. And I think that at this point, the only thing left for people that have those kind of attached energies, their sources are more so um, considered to be the lower end. They have to feed off of more so people that have, they're feeding off of the lower aspect. They can't no longer feed off of that. The energy shifted the day of uh, it was shortly before Lionsgate, but around August was when the energy shifted. And I know this for a fact because I've experienced it, and they're literally not able to do it. In fact, um, there was a time to where energy vampires, if they were not able to feed off of you energetically, because a lot of you guys would have 7-day candles going, then what they would do is they would try to come through as a backup plan. What they have been trying to do is come in through your astral so that they can try to feed directly on you. I believe that some of them, if they actually know how to use the astral to get to you if you are unprotected, some of them can still try that method. Now, I don't understand why somebody would think of that as a long term solution to whatever their issue is. But, people do silly stuff all the time. Um, you have to be careful what you allow yourself to be used for, because there's a lot of punishment that is going to come with that. Nobody should be doing energy vampirism rituals or spells, because basically you can murder somebody by doing that. You can kill somebody. If you feed off of them long enough, you can kill them. For the past several months, a lot of people have had to supplement their diets. A lot of people have had to take extra iron, and vitamins, because people were so depleted by this vampirism. Um, that's over for the most part. what we need to prepare for is, um, I can tell you what you need to focus on with Sal Wayne coming up. You need to focus on protecting yourself from entities disguising themselves as ancestors and people that have passed away. So that's going to be big coming up in October. The point of it is to understand these particular entities or spirits, malevolent forces coming through, um, getting through to you. Now, they may not be able to harvest your energy, but malevolent spirits can create all sorts of negative situations in your life, and they can even make you sick. As far as being energy harvested, especially if you've seen me in the past year, every single client that I've had in the past year has received protection from that. The issue is spirits at this point, mainly malevolent spirits, is what people need to be concerned about. If you're still being energy harvested off of, then you're doing something ain't right. You either didn't get the memo, which is understandable because of all of the confusion and the chaos and a lot of people's crown chakras being attacked to cause confusion. They were doing big rituals on Maybon. They were doing big energy, they were trying to do energy harvesting rituals, but a lot of those entities have died. They're blocked out. Remember I told y'all the cleaners was coming? And so many of the people that were using energy harvesting techniques, energy vampirism techniques, which is mainly attacks, shame, um, you know, those techniques are no longer going to work and it's not going to do anything for them. Okay. It's not. Um, if you don't understand how to stop energy vampirism, I do teach that. If you are somebody that is still being drained of your energy, something isn't right. None of my clients are experiencing that, maybe after you get done with a spiritual war, you may be a little tired after that. But, as far as energy, everybody's energy has been picking up. If you do certain things, you can protect yourself from energy harvesting and energy vampirism. Okay. So the season of that has been over for years, but sometimes it takes certain timing for things to catch up. Okay, it may be something else. Now, we all know about succubus spirits, which can come in and they can make you feel like you're being energy vampire, but that's a little different because it's a succubus. Okay. Everybody should know how to protect themselves at this point from malevolent spirits. And I honestly, if I hear and you can see people, they're still doing it, they're still far in the dark, they're still trying to blame it on witches and witchcraft when witches have provided the education to stop it. But, It's so weird. So, witches are not demons that feed off of people. That's totally a complete and utter false belief. Um, and so if you are still being energy vampired off of, in fact, a lot of the people that were participating in the energy vampirism, they actually have suffered because of it, um, a lot, because it created way too many imbalances. Old habits die hard. If you do have a parasitic energy that is still attached to you, it's time for you to cleanse yourself. Because what a parasitic entity will do is that when it's being denied, it will start to attack you. Some people don't care about their life. Okay. I'm talking about a parasitic body is what I'm talking about. Okay. Um, this is fact. This is fact. There were some people that were sustaining their life force, and I think that that's what they've been accusing the queen of doing. I've never done an official reading on her. Everybody knows that she passed away recently. Everybody feels as though she was sort of energy vampiring. Is pretty much what I gathered from people, and it's just not going to work anymore. Okay, that time is over. Um, they're trying, but they just can't do it because it's not going to work, especially if you're dealing with people that are protected from it. And it's about time for things to go back to normal. It's about time for the world to see some kind of normalcy. The types of weird, off putting things that were done to do this energy harvesting, or energy vampirism, is to where it would be something that's just so outlandish. It was so outlandish to the point where it was unreal. And, people began to not react to it. Okay. Because when you get upset, that's when they're able to feed off of your life force. When you get upset, when you get scared, it's just not happening anymore, at least for my collective. If you are somebody that is still having that issue, then you need to get help and you need to quit trusting in what the energy vampires are saying, because what they told you was that, witches were not powerful, but the witches got rid of that problem completely. Or at least we found a solution for the issue. When this happened, it was like a kill switch for a lot of those entities. And they were very, very, very parasitic. They were very parasitic. And like I said, the information came sometime around the end of July. So that's why a lot of people feel different. A lot of people probably feel more energy. You probably are getting more done now because that's been cut off. Now I think that some of them that have been taught that habit and we're being told to do that from those entities are still trying it, but it's not going to work. However, there's still the threat of spirits, curses, death magic, sickness magic, and then also people that are committing spiritual crimes such as astral rape, traveling in and out of your astral, which is why my spirit guides created the astral class to teach people how to protect themselves and to teach you about the astral realm and to teach you about how to deal with that. Okay? It's pretty much what I do when I remove curses from you is I'm removing things that may be blocking you, removing things that may be stopping you, you know. And so there's a difference between somebody trying it and not getting a result. Okay. They may try, but it's not going to work. So just because you see somebody going through the motions of doing something doesn't mean that it's going to work out for them. Okay. Because in reality, you shouldn't try to steal from other people. Okay. So, you know, as we get closer to October, for some reason, you know, I've thought about doing research on it as to why it seems like things start to pop up, like spirits and entities. You know, I'm not real sure why that happens in the month of October and why that happens on Old Hallows Eve. But you know, it doesn't just happen on Old Hallows Eve. There's a constant and consistent effort that people are making constantly to do harm. A lot of these people are factually under possession, and just like what you know, you kind of think of it as sort of like the zombie apocalypse. These people have literally been zombified by these certain entities that have turned them into zombies. And so if you are somebody that is not doing that, you are actually very, very lucky. Those people that are doing the trying to do harm to people, those people will do harm to you if you let them, but they are at a disadvantage at this point because they're not being supported at all. And so it's not going to get the same result that they wanted. And, you know, so, um, you know, protecting your astral, learning about the astral, how is it so easy for people to get in? Okay. How is that so easy for them to get in? You know what I'm saying? And that's something that is taught in secret and in private because there's some people that are attempting to do astral travel, do not know how to do it, and they don't need to find out how. Okay, so that's the reason why you're not going to go and find very many videos where, because I haven't found one yet to actually that actually explains to you how to get to the astral realm. If you see one, point it out to me, but I haven't seen it on here, or I haven't seen it on the internet either. Okay, there are some people that know how to do it. There are some people that I know for a fact that do know how to astral travel and astral project. And Those people are capable of very dangerous things. They want to use it to do harm to people for whatever reason. Okay, it's kind of difficult to understand those people because you would think that they would decide, let me do things the right way instead of doing things the wrong way and the hard way. But some people just don't have that kind of discernment. It is very important to arm yourself with knowledge of that. Okay. Very important for you to do that. And so you guys have an excellent support system over here. Um, there's a lot going on as far as spiritually. Um, and so I thought about doing actual astral readings, but I decided against it because I think that this is something that needs to be discussed privately. And a lot of people that knew exactly what they were doing, it's time for them to stop because it's something that they have taken advantage of, and it's something that they need to realize that it was wrong and that you had no right to do that. You didn't. You had no right to do that. And this is not about race. It's not about marital status. It's not about none of that. Because it's been happening to everybody of every race, of every gender, of every age. Um, 50 and 60-year-old women being energy vampired off of, little babies being energy vampired off of. So all that other stuff doesn't matter. It's all about what energy you have inside of you. What is your life force? How much is readily available to you. And that's what it's about. So, if you still feel like you're being energy vampired off of, then it's something that you're doing wrong. This is something that most people thought that it was something else, but it was actually something very serious. But not too many people are talking about this anymore because of the knowledge and the downloads that people got from spirit. And if you didn't get it, it doesn't mean that your spirit guides wasn't looking out for you. It just means that you missed it. It means that maybe you were distracted, maybe you were not ready to receive that information. But the information is there. Okay, it is. And a lot of people are still trying to figure out, how do I stop this? How do I stop this? Because honestly, when it comes to anything that you're doing, it does no good to do anything when you actually have that problem consistently. When I realized that I was being energy vampired off of last year, I eventually put a stop to it, put the brakes on it. And so it's no longer happening. And for me, it wasn't happening in the first place because I had a habit of doing reversal candles. I had a habit of, taking back my energy anyway. But I think that, there's been a lot of people who thought that they were in with the club. And from what I can see is that a lot of those people, oh my God, it's just like they've lost their mind. It's like they're losing it. Okay. From what I've noticed people that were asked to do certain things so that they could help people energy harvest. Those people seem to not be doing good. They're not. I can sense it. And that is because at the same time, even the energy vampires were being vampired on. And there's this one There's this one video where this white guy, he's kind of overweight, he's kind of chubby, and he's trying to feed it to bring. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's over. That whole energy vampiring thing is over. Okay. We still have the other spiritual stuff to deal with. That within itself was seen as more so of a nuisance. It was really a nuisance. If you were being harvested off of and you felt like you couldn't use your gifts, you felt like you couldn't think straight, you felt like your energy was really low to where you couldn't get up and you couldn't get things done. It was really a nuisance. It really was. And so if you're still dealing with that nuisance, then that means that you must be at the tail end of that because, um, you know, at least I know I can only speak as far as my clients are concerned. The whole energy vampirism thing it blew up. It blew up. Was it in 2021? Um, Whenever they had that whole thing with the Astro World concert, that was when it was at its height, and now it's pretty much over. It's pretty much, yeah. Um, I don't understand why somebody would feel the need to ever feel that they needed to do that unless they just, are like a natural thief, somebody that just likes taking from people. uh but I just, I don't know. I've had tons of lifetimes, and I've been the bad guy in previous lives, and I can tell you that in this life I didn't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, that situation is over. But I will tell you that the main aspect of it is they're going to be trying to um, do this themselves, which means that there's going to be a lot of people trying to invade your actual spiritual etheric space. And that is something that is going to be pretty serious. They're going to almost try to mimic those, parasitic entities that were doing that. I don't see them as lasting very long. I'm going to caution against that, strongly caution against that. The reason why it was happening previously is because of certain entity attachments, but you as a human being, even when you're in the astral, you're still a human being. You're not supposed to, and you don't have to feed off of another person energetically. Okay. I've ran across all sorts of videos miseducating people. I've even seen videos of frequencies where people can turn themselves into a vampire. It's so funny. Um, I think this year and next year is going to truly show people that, when you are born, it's best to not, it's best to kind of just stick with, what you're born as and not try to do too much. Okay. Because I think sometimes, and I'm not trying to criticize anybody as far as their spiritual path. I'm just telling you guys what I have seen, what I have noticed, and what I have been sensing. Okay. Um, so today is the 24th. I am rolling out the Salwayne circle. I'm going to see if they have pumpkins at the grocery store. I hope that they do. I'm going to get a couple. We're going to have our annual pumpkin carving sometime next week. We'll do that. And so the Old Hallows Eve or Salwayne circle will be available Um, and I actually almost forgot because my spirits wanted me to roll it out like the day after, um, the day after the fall equinox. They wanted me to roll it out then, so I will be rolling that out sometime tomorrow or either Monday. Okay. Um, and so it's still going to be the same thing. Like I said, for the next die hard for the next 6 months, we're going to be doing a lot of candle vigils to keep stuff out, because that's the main thing that you have to worry about. That's the main thing to be concerned about, is other things traveling in and out, okay? Through the etheric, through the astral, and into the physical. Because I mean, were you not aware that whatever is in your astral space can affect you in the physical? Absolutely. Okay. And I don't, I think that there are some people, I was watching, I can't think of the name of this documentary that I was watching. Actually, I can't think of the name of it, but it was this documentary on Netflix. I think it's called Our Mother's Sins. And something, I think that people connect with bad spiritual energy, and it can also be through a church. These people, something had happened to where the ladies, something happened to where um, the lady's husband or ex-husband had molested the child, and she pretty much went into a despair. She joined a church and ended up ended up killing her kids. She ended up murdering her children. So that's something interesting. I think it's called Our Mother's Sins or something. It's on Netflix, and it's a true story of what happened. And so I think that when people are disparaging, sometimes when you are dealing with despair, when you are dealing with loss, when you are dealing with something traumatic, you can sometimes run into people, entities, spirits that want to take advantage. They want to, you know, uh, kind of sort of take advantage of you so that some kind of evil can be done through you. And I think it's important to understand that, a person being the bad guy is not always the right decision. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that are hurting for whatever reason. They are hurt. They may have lost their parents. They may have lost their child. They may have experienced some kind of trauma. Um, and so with that, sometimes you can get, picked up at the crossroads and led down a very dark and destructive path that is not good for you. And, they may lie to you and tell you, oh, this is going to work, this is going to work out. I mean, they will do everything, I'm surprised that they haven't been using that Reface app to try to frame people for crimes. I'm shocked about that not happening yet. you know, they can make it. That's just like just recently. I don't know what the deal was with that. They were trying to make it look like I have 100-year-old body. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm only 45, which was a total lie. I'm not going to come on here completely in the nude to prove that to anybody, but it was definitely a lie, and they're going to stick with the lie. They're going to stick with that, even though, I proved that it wasn't the truth. by just basically showing the circumference from the bottom of my neck. So basically, they were trying to prove that that what they're doing to me, I guess, because they hate me so much that they just completely wrecked made me look like 100-year-old woman about the body, which is totally untrue. Yes, I am overweight. Uh, they're liars. Okay, and it's one of the tactics. I think it was like a last ditch effort to try to prove that they can, I guess, destroy somebody. Like the things that they were doing, they wanted to. It was really bizarre. It was bizarre. It really was. But at the end of the day, it was a lie. And I just somebody was just talking about it tonight. For some reason, that is very important to them, to try to convince you that they somehow made a 45-year-old woman look like she's about 100 years old. I don't know if they were trying to do glamour work, or they were trying to do death magic, or trying to do some kind of aging or something. I'm not gonna. I'm not. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not. Yes, I am overweight. No, I don't look like a 90-year-old woman. It was being done to prove that somebody can destroy somebody, and no, they definitely don't have that power. But that's just one example of it. You know, that's just one example of it. And it's kind of silly, but it's one of those things to where they want people that hate you, or at least people that hate me, because my goodness, I must be doing something correct. You ain't nobody unless you got haters. That's just the reality of it, seriously, because I ain't never seen nothing like that before in my life. It was the most ridiculous thing ever. Um, and I just don't get it. I really don't. I just don't get why. I'm still asking myself why, wondering what was the importance behind that. And it was to prove that, it was so weird. I got sent a picture of some kind of weird looking alien. And it had breasts and like a open vagina, and the breasts were, there was like these long pink nipples. And I was like, well, why would you think that that resembles me at all? I don't have pink nipples. I just don't get it. But whatever. Okay, I don't know exactly who they're trying to convince, but I just think it's ridiculous. I really do. At any rate, it was all done at an attempt of energy harvesting, which energy vampirism, which didn't work. Pretty much what it was. Okay, all of it. And I think that people need to go ahead and just give up the ghost and say, yeah, I was totally ridiculous, and I'm sorry that I did that. Just apologize and move on is what you got to do. Okay. Nobody is powerful enough, not a coven, not a witch, is powerful enough to force a 45-year-old woman to look like she's about a 150-year-old alien from another planet. I just, I don't, some of the things that they think of, you wonder what a person has to be going through to even think, to even do something like that. But it was totally, it was really ridiculous. I mean, yeah, I have cellulite, yeah, I'm a chubby woman. So, It was just ridiculous. Thank God I'm a very, very strong minded and strong willed woman, has have always been, and can pick up on bull crap from a mile away. And I don't even, for you to hate somebody that much is just totally ridiculous. Obsessive hatred. And they don't even mind doing it in front of people. So that's how you can, it's kind of like, I don't know. When I was in high school, the last time I was in high school, it was actually a very embarrassing thing to blatantly hate on people, like that, that kind of it's and I guess people decided, this is something cool to do to hate on other people, and so it's kind of ridiculous, but yeah. Um, but yeah, the whole energy vampirism it's gone. The head vampire is dead. It is. It's gone. It's over. There's no more energy vampirism. Okay. And this happened not in the physical reality, but in the astral. That thing is gone. Whatever it was that they were communicating with has left the building. Okay, I can promise you that. Um, so let's on um, focus on what's real now, because all of that stuff wasn't even real anyway. Okay, wasn't even, in fact, when it comes to energy vampirism, that's not even a part of witchcraft. Witches don't have to energy vampire off of anybody. Okay, yeah, I'm back. So that what I was saying before I had to mute real quick. A witch would not have to energy harvest off of a person. That would be more so some kind of demonic entity. And they have the new Hocus Pocus Part Two is actually coming out in 6 days, and I really, really hope I'm gonna I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that that is not what that movie is going to be about, because the last one, that's exactly what it was about. If you guys remember, the three sisters was standing over this little girl and just pretty much sucking the life force out of her. I hope that this one is different. Otherwise, I'm just going to refuse to finish watching the movie. I am taking a stand against. Oh shit! Sorry, I just dropped my phone. I am taking a stand against Hollywood trying to demonize witches. I'm taking a stand against that. So I think you'll be able to stream it in about 6 days. And hold on a minute. we'll be able to stream it in about 6 days, I believe. And I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna look at it, and if it's got anything to do with that, I'm just gonna turn it off and ask for my money back because I'm tired of it. I really am. I'm tired of them, trying to demonize the witches and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Completely and totally. And it just, you know, because that's not, energy vampirism is not about witchcraft, has nothing to do with that. Okay, most witches will even tell you that witchcraft is based on the elements, okay? Earth, air, fire, water, okay? That's what we use. We do use spirit, but it don't have nothing to do with that. So it's been a lot of miseducation. And I realize on YouTube.com, there's a lot of people that may be connected to Hollywood, and it's, and that ain't that's not what it is. Okay, that's not what that is. Okay, but it'll probably be a good movie to watch. I'm surprised that they're releasing it so soon before Halloween. And so this is a good time of the year. I think that a lot of the energy vampires are very, very upset because they cannot feed off of people. They're very mad about that. They don't appreciate the fact that they can't get to your energy anymore. They're very upset about it, especially if you've done something about it. They have a serious, serious problem with that. And they're trying to find ways of getting it. And trust me, they're cooking up schemes and scams. And don't be distracted by it. Just say, "Oh, there you go again. Okay, thank you. Bye." Is it what else can you do? It's really time for people to start spending more time living. A lot of people have literally just been sort of held up in suspension, almost like suspended in the air. And don't give somebody that kind of power over you. Don't do that. Keep moving forward. Okay? Keep moving forward. That's really all that you can do. You have every right to manifest your life. You have every right to your own power. You have that right. You don't have to worry about it. Okay? You don't have to worry about it. And it's nothing that they can do. It's absolutely nothing that they can do about it. Okay. And this is for my collective, especially if you're in my collective. I mean, at this point, even if you're living in the home with an energy vampire, they can't get nothing. Okay. Because that entity is gone. And I think that a lot of the times, it's not to say to put it out of your memory. It's not to say to forget about it. I mean, we'll never forget, some of the weird, outlandish things that they did. But I think that it's something that you handle it and you put it on the back burner. You put it on the shelf, let that rest for a while. Okay. And, focus on educating yourself on the spirit realm. And of course, now that's not to say that they can't conjure up spirits and try to curse you. They can definitely still do that. Okay. If they're able to. Um, but I don't, I kind of, I don't, I don't know. It's one of those things to where it's a case by case situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I personally do not believe that people can curse you necessarily. unless you may have done something. I think curses are fair sometimes in case somebody has done some kind of harm. If you have not done harm to a person, then no harm should come to you. However, if somebody knows how to work with spirits, then those spirits can be pretty annoying. They can create all kinds of situations, they can possess people. And I do believe that coming up in October, the one thing that I can tell you is that it is going to be more obvious the possession that people are under. Okay, so it may get real wicked out here um, to where you may witness people being under spirit possession. And it's very off-putting. It really is when people are doing things like that. I have seen people under possession. I don't understand why people don't do something about it. Like, why do they totally lose it and flip out? So weird. I've seen people do it. It's almost like they are accepting the possession, but they don't really understand the possession that they are accepting. It's kind of ridiculous because, um, almost always, if you're possessed by a malevolent spirit, you're going to start self harm, self injury. Okay. And that's when you start to do things that are very self destructive to yourself. So I don't understand why, these people are not concerned about that, why they ignore it, especially when somebody tells them, hey, you did this last night. We was, for example, and I'm just using this for an example. We was riding down the street and all of a sudden you jumped up and was threatening to jump out the window of a moving car. You know what I'm saying? They're like, what? I don't remember doing that. And, if somebody told me that I was doing that, which I would never do that, but if somebody told me I did that, I would be concerned about what is happening to me spiritually. It's just me, but it is what it is. So, yeah, but that whole energy vampire thing, as far as especially with a lot of my clients, a lot of my collective, a lot of the people that come to me for spiritual work, there's that's over. That don't that ain't that's not where it's at anymore. Okay, at least because for a whole year I kept trying different things to stop it, as opposed to having to move in and out of this cycle of the constant reattachment and then pulling of the energy that was really, really causing a lot of mental and physical problems for a lot of people. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So it was causing a lot of issues for a lot of people. And then for some people, it still is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you that's one thing that you got to be aware of, when you're dealing with different types of spirits and different types of entities, that this is something that can definitely happen. If you're not aware of it and you're drained and you just I think that anybody can get tired. Maybe they're a little low on some B vitamins, maybe they're low on iron. I know that being iron deficient can really, really make people very tired, very drowsy, can't get out of bed. But spiritual work within itself does not do that. It doesn't. A lot of people will just assume, well, it's because I'm doing work with the spirits. That's not always the truth. I mean, sometimes when you are working certain cases, it may cause you to have to get a little bit of extra rest. But my spirit guides, when they noticed that happening to me, they taught me how to protect myself from that. Okay. And so I haven't been experiencing that at all. Okay. So I don't exactly know why a person would be doing spiritual work and be experiencing that without wondering something is wrong here. And it's something that you're missing. It's something that you're not doing that's causing that to happen. Um, so it could be a number of things. Um, I know that I love reading with cards. Um, Maybe it's because I read with cards. There's some people that they don't read with cards. They use their body, and maybe that would cause them to be a little bit more drained, perhaps. I don't know. I do know that I have diagnosed that, um, and all kinds of things. Now, energy harvesting is over, but spirit snatching, soul snatching, that's still something to be concerned about. Okay. People pulling your spirit towards them and then swapping out spirits with you, spiritual energy, swapping spirits. A lot of people think that that's about something else. No, what that is about is somebody that's literally able to put your spiritual essence in their body, switch it with yours, and so that they can put a couple of bucks, a couple of dollars in their pocket. Okay, and that's something that you do need to be concerned about because that's still happening. And so again, the way that you do that is with protection that comes from all angles. You can't just have one type of protection. You've got to be doing at least 3 or 4 things to protect yourself. But the main aspect of it is understanding astral travel is one of the biggest components of that. Okay. And so if you are in my spirit family, if you are in my group, if you are on my watch, you're gonna learn how to not let that happen to you. Okay. Because I'm not here to be your I'm not here to rule over you. Okay. When I do work for you, it is it's a contract based in mutual respect and honor and dignity and trust. And I don't operate that way. So, and a lot of you guys, I explain to you what I'm doing, even though you may not even understand it, but I still explain to you what's happening and why I'm doing this. And then people let me know, like the next day or 2 days later or 3 days later, oh my God, I feel and I can see a totally big difference. Okay. So that's just what that is. And so yeah. And I'm willing to, share that with other spiritualists too. I mean, and because this spiritual community on YouTube is just in a shambles, and it's because a lot of people just it's so weird. It's like everybody's freaking out. So everything's gonna be okay. If you're a client of mine, you can rest assured that everything's fine. Don't let nobody on this website convince you of otherwise because they're liars. They're liars. Okay? That's really what I want to let y'all know. But anyway, I am going to go. I hope y'all have a happy Sunday. Okay? I will see y'all later. Blessings.